What's going on, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Pucking Around podcast. We're going to recap last week's NHL draft. We're going to talk about potential steals. We're also going to talk about some moves that were made today on the eve of free agency. It's going to be very interesting, and it starts right now. I'm joined right below me with my good friend filibuster Eric Martino.
What's up, Matt?
Going on, brother? To my on the screen to my right would be Cam Sakarzik from Hybrew.
What's going on, buddy? How we doing?
Happening. And the little itty bitty baby square below Cam, our director, Rick Seligman.
Hey, everybody!
So I don't know. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with the draft, or you want to just kind of go into the free agency moves that happened today? Some pretty big ones. I don't know. What do you guys feel like?
Yeah, that with the I just found out about the Marner deal myself because I was out all day. I'm good either way, but probably we should talk about the draft. We'll get into the free agency stuff after because it'll lead in for what we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch the entire draft. Like, I saw bits and pieces of round one, but I guess the big surprise to me was actually James Higgins falling as far as he did. I'm glad, Boston got him. So, welcome to Boston, James. So, yeah, I don't know. It was exciting. Definitely, I think one of the biggest winners of that draft, though, the Islanders, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Islanders did really, really well.
Yeah, I think it's a consensus that they were the number one.
Yeah, I mean, good. The Kings of Mediocrity can maybe get out of being the Kings and Queens of Mediocrity. So.
Well, eventually it's a draft. Not everybody's going to be ready to go right away.
Yeah, that's why I said eventually, right? Like, they'll hopefully eventually get out of that rut, but that will need to be seen.
Yeah, you know what? It's a new regime, right? And for the Islanders right now with Lamoriello out, Matthew Darshin, and look, man, like you said, I really love their draft. I really did not think that Eklund and Aitchison would be available like where they picked them, but like
not at 16. I wasn't thinking.
Good on them. Good on them, man.
Yeah.
And I just quit like Nashville, man. What the fuck are you doing?
I saw when they got Brady Martin. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, if Philly doesn't take James Higgins, I'm gonna lose it. Because I'm like, they just gave Don Sweeney a layup. I'm like, just go fucking do it. Who cares? Take the risk.
Like you desperately need talent at the center position, and Higgins is like, I get it. Okay, he's a little small. Whatever, man. Like, he's not that small, and you desperately need the skill. And then you go and you take Brady Martin at 5. I don't know. I really don't know if that one's gonna pan out super well for them.
That was mind-boggling.
Barry Trotz proving maybe was a great coach. I really liked him as a coach, but as a GM, man. That's kind of 2 years in a row where he's fizzling.
His recent deals too. What he signed Nick Hague to $5.5 million. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, I don't think that's it. Like, I don't think he's worth that much money.
No, from everything I read about him, yeah, I agree with you. $5.5 million. That's kind of a little crazy. What was the term on that?
What, 6 years? 5 years? Around that ballpark, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's proven to be not a great GM.
Yeah, I mean, great coach. I might genuinely be surprised if he still has a job, unless they're tanking for McKenna. Like that. That's the only thing I could possibly imagine. Like the team next year is. You thought they were bad last year. Like they're gonna be. It might be worse.
Yeah, it's a 4-year term for Hague.
Oh, okay. I was wrong. I am pretty sure that the Soros saw that trade and was like, "Fuck!" Like the guy has Roman Yossi and like they lost. I mean, Lausanne was a bottom pair D guy, but at least he was physical. I don't know. I didn't understand that.
Nick Hague is a very physical player.
Yeah, I know. I know, but like not $5.5 million worth of physicality. You know what I mean? He gave up Lausanne.
He apparently plays 20 minutes a night. He's in your top 4. I mean, if you look at it, Maybe he is worth it.
Yeah, and like also we kind of have to start adjusting our like what we think a good salary is for a certain kind of player, with especially with the cap going up. So because like 5.5 now is like in like 2 years is like a 3.5 or something,
Right.
like so.
Yeah, but then I think it's going to be stagnant for I think 2 years after the cap goes up. I think 14 million. I think it's going to be a little stagnant. So I mean,
yeah, I should level up, plateau at a certain point, but then
yeah,
if the NHL does bring in 2 more teams like I'm assuming they want, and if those numbers are right with the $2 billion,
then the cap should skyrocket again. So.
it's gonna go up again.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell Barry Trotz is doing, and I bet you it's because of the Mammoth like throwing a smoke screen with who they wanted, and then they ended up taking Caleb Desnoyers. So I bet you that's why Trotz probably was in a panic. Because I think
at that point you should know it's going to be one of Desnoyers or Higgins. Like he literally went out of his way to select Brady Martin.
You should have multiple options that you know all about them and which guy in what order you want. If you're a professional team and that's not how you're operating, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, the Preds I think were the biggest losers in that draft.
Yeah, I mean they didn't get they had a number 5 pick and they didn't get a number 5 pick guy.
Well, we never know, right? Like their prospects, but like from what's being
it looks like,
it
looks like they made a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big guy, but like if that's it, I don't think that's enough to draft at number 5. Like, you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. I mean, Christ, or if you guys want it, like if you want a guy with size, at least get the guy with size and skill. Take Roger McQueen. Like, at least that's reasonable. But
but the injury thing with his back. No?
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on how bad the back is.
Yeah, but I mean, but he went 10. You know what I mean? And like realistically speaking, in terms of size and skill, who's better, Martin or McQueen?
I couldn't answer that.
Barring the injury, it's McQueen. I don't think it's a question in my eyes. So you get risk with that, but the Ducks thought it was worth it. So
yeah, well, the Ducks are in a position where they could afford to take that swing, right? Because you have Leo Carlson, you have McTavish, still have Ryan Strome under contract. So that's it. So good on them. Like they had the opportunity to take a chance, take a swing. I honestly thought Buffalo was gonna do it at 9, but whatever. But like they're in position to take that swing. Thing is, like someone like I guess like Nashville wasn't, because like you really needed to nail that pick, and that's why I was so shocked they went Martin. It's because you had such a bad year. You have zero depth at center. And you're rolling a dice at number 5 on Brady Martin, who some people think he's not even a top 6 center he won't even be a top 6 center in the league. Or they're projecting if he's going to be in the top 6, he's probably better off as a winger.
With them fighting Peterka too, I thought they were going to really go for Eklund. Like that was the reason why I had. Like that's it. I thought they were going to go for him, and then they surprised me with Murtka. I'm just like, do you just? I'm like, it doesn't matter because Merck is going to be traded in 2 years anyway. So what does it fucking matter? Like, it's not like Buffalo retains their first round pick. So,
but I actually like that pick for Buffalo. I like the Rudy Murtka pick for Buffalo.
Yeah, Murtka looks like he's going to be pretty good, and he's big.
Yeah. No, their entire blue line is like no one under 6 feet, or I think no one under 6'2".
That's not a bad thing.
Well, I mean, if speed becomes a factor, like, the tall guys typically don't retain a lot of speed as they age.
That's not as much the case anymore. A lot of big guys can play and skate and do all that, as opposed to how it used to be, where big guys really, didn't have that. I'm reading a lot of players that they're big and they're saying, skate's really, really good for a guy that size, especially. So I think that kind of thing's changing.
I don't know. I just think in the long term, as you get older, tall people just inherently, as you get older, your knees are not as versatile as a shorter individual. So.
Well, okay, but they're young here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. Like you can get get years out of it. But don't worry, it'll still be 15 years from now, and Buffalo still hasn't made the playoffs. So I don't know what else to kind of say there.
That'd be something, right?
So, yeah, no, it's gonna be the long. Yeah, you think the Leafs have the longest, Stanley Cup drought? Just wait till it reaches 50 years, and the Buffalo Sabres are still trying to get into the fucking playoffs.
Imagine that going like 50 years and you didn't make the playoffs in 50 years.
I would hope at that point either the team gets sold or they move, because otherwise,
the fans riot and just tear them apart.
Yeah,
set them on fire.
No, I mean, I genuinely hope that team actually makes steps and progress forward. Otherwise, I don't know what to say.
But they won't with that ownership. We all know that.
Yeah, no, the Pagulas are going to continue to screw them over.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, all the other picks wasn't really surprised.
What happened?
This comes to us from Chris Johnston. Patrick Kane will not hit the open market. He and the Red Wings are in agreement on a 1-year contract extension.
Do we have the dollar value on that?
Not yet. This just came out that they're in agreement on the extension. I don't have a dollar amount yet.
That's
UFA's just flying off the board.
Dude, he's old. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, who was it? There was a guy on Twitter today that mentioned a whole bunch of UFAs, and I'm just like, half of those guys I don't even want. Like, it's like, do you really want Patrick Kane?
No.
He's 30. I'm good. Like, because he's still gonna want money. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just all set.
I think he's at the point now where he's gonna start taking like the like the Giroux contract, the Ben contract, where it's gonna be like low AAV but like with bonuses. So it wouldn't shock me if that comes out. Like,
maybe, but he'll still get $5 million. I mean, he still produces. He's 37. I mean, like, he's also the 3-time Cup champion. He's gonna want money.
No, that's why. But you gotta give. I think at this point you gotta give them in bonuses.
Yeah,
right. You gotta. Because then you just keep on.
Somebody just signed a contract like that. I can't remember who it was.
Giroux signed.
$2 million. Giroux?
Yeah, he signed for $2 million. Plus, I think it's another 2.7 in bonuses, so it could be up to 4.7 million.
I think there's another player that signed a very heavy bonus-laden contract like that.
Jonathan Toews was another one.
Toews, yeah. Jamey Benn.
Yep.
It was Jamey Benn I'm thinking of. Jamey Benn, right? He signed for like $1 million, but all these bonus possibilities.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Some of these guys just have to retire. I'm sorry. Like, Kane, I don't even know what the fuck is keeping him in Detroit. Like, is it just that him and DeBrincat are butt buddies? Like,
could be.
Like, I get it, but you would think at his age he would want to go to a contending team. And with the way Detroit, like, Yzerman's going, either that or at this point he's just like, he's going to give me a paycheck, so I might as well just stay. I don't know. I think he's hindering the Red Wings more than he's helping them. So I don't know.
The Wings are not going to win anyway.
So apparently it's a $3 million in base salary and 2.5 in potential bonuses.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, that just came out from CJ. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so look, could go up to 5.5. Well, we'll see. Like, $3 million, it's not the end of the world. I like to look with Kane. Like, if Detroit really does want to compete, but at this point, like, Kane should be like probably playing in your middle six. Shouldn't be like on your top line. And look, he's a power play specialist at this point, pretty much. So it's not a bad contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think you also get him for the playoffs too. I think that's where you get him. Like, that's where he's going to be most efficient, and that's where he'll play in the third line. I think that's what matters.
That's if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, assuming they make the playoffs. Yeah, because I really don't see Florida falling out. I don't see Tampa falling out. And well, actually, I don't know. I could see Tampa struggling. I think Montreal is going to be a playoff team. You know, Buffalo, bottom of the East again,
and then Toronto, and then where's Detroit? There's no room.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless I don't think the Metro is that strong. So I mean,
yeah, they could. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that could be another 5-3 year.
I mean, it also depends. Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. I mean, the Atlantic is still a very strong division, at least from the defensive and goaltending standpoint. So I don't know. So
well, it depends though, because like you look at the trend, like with like teams, like I think it's like I don't remember the exact numbers, but it seems like there's 3 teams that make the playoffs every year that fall out the year after, and some of these are like 100-point teams, which is really crazy. And it honestly, it really goes to show right now, like the parity in the league. It's like who's rebuilding right now? In all honesty, like who's actually we know we have like San Jose and Chicago that are currently in their rebuild, but like towards the end of their rebuilds. Maybe Pittsburgh is going towards a rebuild, but after that, everybody's trying to be competitive.
Yep.
You have like 3 teams, like realistically, that you can say, okay, they're probably not making the playoffs. But then it's like the other 29 teams, you're like, you know what? You can honestly make a case almost.
Yeah, but that's what the league wants. It makes it go longer, the excitement. It was really exciting last year, and you didn't know who the fuck was going to make the playoffs at some point. You know?
You know what? All it takes is like one major injury or something like that, or like a really terrible month, and you put yourself in such a hole that you're like, fuck, and like the Rangers. Look at the Rangers, like they completely imploded, but still, like you're like, this was the President Trophy winning team, and you didn't even make the playoffs the year after.
Well, I mean, Chris Drury was also just selling off any player like that he wanted to. I'm sorry, I also just don't understand who wants to go be a New York Ranger at this time with how he treated. What was it? He treated
Barclay Goodrow,
the whole team.
Yeah, Barclay Goodrow, Trouba. Like I just.
Well,
like I don't care. And like how you go up to someone and say like you can either do this or we're just gonna waive you anyway. Like I just and your captain, like I just don't understand how you disrespect.
But it was Jacob Trouba, so fuck him.
I understand that, Rick, but like I don't care what you say. Like
I agree with you though. No, I agree with you. In all that, you're right. How do you do that to your captain?
Yeah,
and even if we're gonna trade him anyway, but your whole team sees this shit. Like, it's affecting the whole team. If you think it's not, well, you really shouldn't be GM.
Look at Capo Caco, how that worked out. It's a nuke issue. And Caco's performing out in Seattle. He got a fresh start, and I bet you, like, as this year rolls around, Caco has the potential to probably pop off because he'll be through the training camp.
He's an RFA, eh? This year.
What, Caco? Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna sign him. I'm going to take that fucking button away from him.
So this was just released by the Vegas Golden Knights. Kind of sad news. Alex Petrangelo's playing days look like they are officially over.
That's not breaking news. We've known that.
Yeah.
It's official now.
I think that's already beneficial because
the statements just came out.
It was this morning. I saw it this morning, but I don't know if it was official yet. It was still speculated.
This is officially official. His playing days are over.
I was going to say, because he was already ruled out for the 25-26 season.
He was a good defenseman, not my favorite, especially after playing Vegas, the playoffs a few years ago. But, yeah, it's pretty sad. But, I mean, he's an older guy. It's not like he's young.
No, I mean, he's had a good career. And what? He's a 2-time champion, right? Yeah. He won with Vegas and he won with St. Louis.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So no, I think that's good. He had a great career, and even when we had David Backus on yesterday for Hibernation, like what I mean, he also mentioned like at what point do you also decide enough's enough, right? Like
you still want to play with your kids in 10 years, or like that kind of thing. So yeah.
So I'm sure as much as he felt honored to play in the NHL, but like Backus alluded to, like, you also have your family to consider, and I think that's what really.
But plus, he's made a shit ton of money, so like that doesn't need to be like in the old days. They didn't make that kind of money. But in the old days, they didn't make this kind of money. So yeah, they tried to hang on longer and all that. But today, if you're doing that at the risk of your health, with the money they're making today, like you're it's stupid. So
yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right. Yeah. So it's a good decision, I'm sure, by him, so that he can still walk in 10 years and play with his kids or whatever, grandkids.
Yeah. And Petrangelo's 35, and actually estimated career earnings $100 million.
Yeah. So like out of that, so he made $50 million in the bank. Like he's made money. At least. He's fine. You don't have to feel sorry for him. And, at 35, it's not that bad. That's a lot longer career than so many guys get.
No, but I bet he'll stay around the league for because it's still young where he left. So I would imagine him maybe coming back in some sort of development role or coaching role, or maybe as an analyst or something like that. I feel like he was a star in the league. So I feel like, you'll definitely see him in some capacity involved with the NHL, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, you heard with Backus yesterday that he said, for a while he didn't, but he fell in love with the game again, and now he's thinking about maybe he wants to get involved. He wants to keep his hand in the fire, that type of thing. So yeah, it doesn't leave them. Temporarily, it does. I find I've heard these stories before with retirees. They don't watch hockey for a little while, blah blah, blah, and then they get back into the game. And it sounded like David Backus. That's what he experienced. So.
By the way, listeners, go watch episode 39 of Hibernation. We got a wonderful interview of David Backus with his experience in the NHL draft, free agency, and just his experience in the NHL and as a whole. It was a real wonderful experience. So if you haven't had a chance to go listen to it yet, go take a listen.
Yeah, definitely.
Take a watch. It was really interesting to see from a player's perspective and some of the stuff that we as fans never get to really hear because some of it could be personal.
He talked about his life in hockey and after hockey, and it was really like we didn't think we'd have as long. It was a nice long interview. He was really open, and he was a really nice guy. Like he's a really nice guy. I know who he is and all that, but I've never seen an interview with him before or anything. So I got to see David Backus in a very new light, and he seems like a really nice dude.
Also, donate to his charity, Athletes for Animals. It's an amazing thing. It's started by him and his wife. Please consider that as well.
And anybody who does that kind of thing with animals got to be a good person, right?
I think so.
You love animals, man. If someone tells me I don't like animals, yeah, okay, I don't want to talk to you. I don't think. So yeah.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
Like here we are. God, well, we had all the breaking news. Like Matt's on top of it tonight. I mean, you'd expect it, right? It's like it's on the eve of free agency. Like teams are probably scrambling.
I'm still working the phone. Yeah, I mean, there could still be more tonight. Wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge. No, I mean, but you're right though. Like we're at the point where teams are scrambling because once tomorrow hits, like it's anyone that's a UFA. Hell, even an RFA, even with the tendering of the qualifying offers, like you could still see offer sheets.
Offer sheets start tomorrow too. That's right.
Yep. So it can be a wild time. Although I think it's going to be a really uneventful free agency. Like most of the big names are off the board. Like
the RFAs, a lot of them have signed in the last day or two.
Yeah, I mean, you have Ehlers who's said he's going to test free agency. You have Besser who said he's going to test free agency. And you have a couple middle six guys in there, but nothing like really that's like backbreaking for a team. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't see tomorrow being too crazy. It
rarely gets that way anymore. So like the name free agent frenzy, it's not really a frenzy anymore. It used to be, man, 12:01 and the signings started. And by the time you got up in the morning, there were all kinds of them and they went all day. And it used to be like, it's not like that anymore.
Well, it's just not a big UFA year.
And it's not, and combined with the fact that it's not a great list.
Next year though is a massive list.
Yeah, but for now until
they're all going to sign. They're all going to sign.
A lot of them are going to sign.
It depends. Like if there's teams cap strapped, you never know.
Yeah, so. But still, like even going into this one, there were a lot of guys that signed, but we were talking about them, and of course they signed with their team.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't know. There's a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. I definitely have people that I want the Bruins to target. I'm surprised Marner went to Vegas.
Really? That was the big rumor. It seemed like he was going to Vegas.
That's been a thing for a couple of weeks now.
No, I know it's been a thing for a couple of weeks, but I'm just talking like the team that just made the most sense to me was Carolina.
Yeah, but it became very clear that it was going to be Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't like.
He wants the big time. He wants all that.
What exactly is the appeal? Like, I guess, look, I've never personally been to Vegas myself. I've never been yet. But even today, I was listening to, I think it was, one of these pods. It was either, and they were talking about Rasmus Anderson because he's gonna be a UFA like next year, And apparently that person was saying, and I think it was Chris Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, and he was saying that right now he told Calgary the only team I'll if you trade me, the only team I'll sign an extension with is Vegas. But like, I don't get it. Like,
Is
why?
Nevada a tax-free state as well?
It is, but like,
That's one of the
guess,
reasons. Plus the nightlife, plus the plus everything.
Yes, it must
depends
be
on the player. Some players really like that. Marner seems to be. He wants to go to a big market that has the money that he can get a lot of adulation at, and that's what he's after: money and adulation.
Yeah, there's just I don't know. There's just zero out of every team, and like some guy on Twitter was like yanking my chain on this too, and he was just like, "Oh, loyalty in professional sports, LOL." I'm just like, yeah, in hockey, it's not abnormal. Like your top 6 forwards typically that's your core. Like your top 6 and your top 3 defensemen tend to be your core. Like you don't really. I've never seen a team in the last like 5 years manipulated as much as they have outside of Colorado. I mean, recently Colorado's done that.
No.
But I think Vegas is guilty of that probably the most because they're so young in the league.
I don't know.
So I thought Carolina made the most sense. I don't know, and it sounds like Nikolai Ehlers really likes Carolina, so maybe he goes there.
Yeah. Well, I think now that Marner signed, you probably see guys sign that have been waiting, or teams that have been waiting to see if they, where Marner's going to go, and that now you'll see more movement. Marner, I think, might have been that, every year there's one guy everyone's waiting to see what happens, and then boom, everything happens after that.
Maybe.
Yeah, someone's gonna overpay Ehlers. I think now that they're gonna get desperate because now he's clearly gonna be like the best available forward on the UFA market. So
yeah, because it's a seller's market. So what that means in this case, because Ehlers you got to trade for him, or he's a UFA? He's a UFA, right?
He's a UFA.
So it's a seller's market. So if people can't make trades, then Ehlers becomes more valuable, I guess. Or there's more teams that are going to come after him, so he's going to get paid.
I mean, I would argue that Ehlers wants to go to a contender. So I mean, I could see Carolina fitting him. I could see him going back to Winnipeg. I'm not ruling that out, but they gotta ground Connor Hellebuck, man. Like his playoff numbers are fucking awful.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'd like him as a Boston Bruin, but we're not a contender. He might help push that narrative, but I doubt it. But it sounds like Boston's going heavy on Brock Besser. So, yay. I guess. Let's go overpay Brock Besser. Like I can't wait. I cannot wait for Don Sweeney to announce tomorrow that he signed Brock Besser to an 8-year, $9 million contract, and the next time you see me is going to be with a fucking Magnum revolver in my mouth. Like, for how bad of a deal that is. And you know what else is going to include in it? Just to tickle my nipples a little bit?
No movement.
No movement clause. No entire thing. And I'm going to be
like, 5 years. Probably first 5 years, no movement.
Nope, he would do it for the entire contract. Yeah.
No, but I'm seeing more often now. It's the first, half or a little over half of the contract now is no movement. And then they'll have a few years at the end where they can move them.
Yeah, they'll have a reduced, but I don't know. I honestly, Jonathan Drouin is apparently hitting the free agent.
He's on my list to talk about.
Yeah, fuck you, Rick. I want him. God damn.
I saw half fans going, "Hey, should we run it back?" I'm like, "Go fuck yourself."
No, you can have him in Boston. We'll help pay the salary too.
That's fine. He had a great year in Colorado.
I don't care as long as he's not coming back to Montreal. I'm happy wherever the fuck he goes.
I'll take him at Middlesex talent at $3 million. Fine.
I agree with you. If you get him at $3 million, it's a good deal.
Yeah,
as long as he wants to go there and he's gonna be happy. Like that's the one thing with Drouin. Like I don't know if in Colorado he did so well because he's playing with McKinnon. Like there's a connection there and he's really happy. But going somewhere else with Drouin, it's a risk.
He could go to Chicago. He could go to a little bit of a younger team, like that because he could play with Bedard. He could go to Carolina, I doubt it, but like I don't know.
I'm just saying it's a risk though with him because is he going to be happy there? If he's not happy there, he's not going to play well.
I think it's more of an injury risk for him.
There's a little bit of both with him, yeah.
Because he only played 43 games last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to get hurt every year, and that's what happened here in Montreal. He either got hurt or for whatever reason he had to take time off at the end of the season.
But he put up 37 points in those 43 games.
He puts up decent numbers. He does. But he can't go beyond what he normally produces because he can't play a full season and he can't go over those numbers for whatever,
Yep, just like Matt Barzal.
But he'll give you 50 points, 55 points in a full season. He'll give you that.
No, I'd argue he'd give you more in a full season. If he could actually play a full season, he would probably give you more. He's a very talented left winger.
We had him for a full season, and he doesn't. He produces 50 to fucking 55 points. That's about it.
I don't know. I feel like he just hadn't hit his stride. Like he's a great talented forward.
When he's gonna hit his stride? He's got to be around 30 now.
No, he is 30. Like he just never hit his stride in Montreal. I think that's it.
But he's not going to hit his stride now. Is he still a decent player? I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's still a nice complementary piece to have in the top 6 or the top 9. But
I'm not saying he's going to go off and score 100 points, but I think he could get you 70 points.
Good for you. I'm glad you think so. Sign him up. Sign him up. He's going to get you 70 points.
He get more than $3 million out of me. I'm sorry.
Sign him up. He's going to get you 70 points. Good luck with that.
I know. I said he could potentially. I'm not saying he's going to.
Yeah, he could have done that here in Montreal too.
Okay, well, when you had him, Montreal sucked. Like I don't know what you want.
Yeah, and he did too because every
because
year he wouldn't finish the season. 3 years in a row,
Rick,
not finish the season.
Just got good again. Like, don't tickle my
whatever.
And like, don't do that.
I wish him well, but like as long as it's somewhere else other than Montreal.
Well, I don't think Montreal's going to kick tires on him.
Not even a chance on that.
No, I think there'll be trades more than I think there will be signings.
I think there'll be trades, yeah.
I think so because of the quality and like what you're seeing out there for UFAs. I think there's going to have to be trades.
Yeah, it's awful this year. Like someone, I just have a feel like I'm looking at the list now. Like now with everybody that's off the board, like I feel like P.A.P. someone's gonna give him like $7 million.
Because there's nobody there. So yeah, some guys are gonna they're gonna cash in, but it doesn't mean you're getting quality. You
had 30 points last season. We'll give you 8.
Yeah, Cap's going up. Give him 9. Cap's going up. It'll be fine.
Oh God. Yeah, no, this is a year where you see overpays.
You'll see GMs that are controlling themselves, which is a laugh. I'm laughing when I say that. That's not happening.
We're talking overpay, though. How about we talk about Ivan Provorov a little bit here?
Oh God, Provorov.
I just saw his player card, whatever that shows his stats, and
what do you mean? You didn't like that? You didn't like that? What
dude, his underlying numbers suck.
Yeah. Oh, I'm aware, but what? Columbus needs to hit the floor, right? Like they're well under.
No, the only one needs to hit the floor is San Jose, I think.
Oh,
which is why I think Carey Price's contract is going to go to San Jose.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. I think Carey Price's contract also gets moved. I agree with you guys. If
they're going to have to. They're going to have to move it or put him on LTIR before the season starts, and that's not great to do that. So I think they move that contract.
Yeah, I mean you could. Yeah, I mean yeah. I think he does move. I think San Jose does take you up on that offer.
They're going to have to hit the floor somehow.
Or I don't know. Maybe Edmonton will take him and hope to God his knee healed.
No, he's done. He's not. You're not getting him as a goalie.
Rick was late to the joke.
Okay, as long as it's a joke, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how desperate Edmonton is. I mean, Edmonton's looking for a goalie, and I think
they could have had Caden Primo for a 7th round pick, man.
Okay, they're trying to improve, not get worse.
Hey, listen, the Metro Division just got better. Caden Primo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got that.
Didn't he go to Carolina? Why would they want him?
Because Freddie Anderson's probably done. Or they're entertaining. What was it, Eric? What is the Flyers? They're kicking the tires on.
Yeah, Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but apparently Carolina's shopping Peter Kochetkov.
Oh, I heard that. Yes, I heard that.
Why?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Well, because they got Caden Primo.
I'm sorry, Kochetkov is leagues ahead of Caden.
Okay, but Cam, like you said before, that's a joke.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You have like the blue, blonde, and rouge like glasses on all the time.
Hey, no, Primo's gone. I'm happy, and we've got a 7th. Great.
Yeah, well,
he's good in the AHL, just not good in the NHL.
Well, then in that case, either then that means Edmonton's going to look at Jake Allen, who's also a UFA, but he wants $5 million, so he could probably go kick rocks. The only other goalie that makes sense to me, because the goalie UFAs aren't really deep, is that Boston trades them Jonas Corposalo, but we'd have to take a little bit of money back.
And you got to be sure that Bussy is like ready.
It would be DiPietro.
Or okay, right, DPS, but they gotta make sure he's ready.
I believe he's a Group 6 UFA, so he hits it tomorrow. The Bruins have not signed him.
Oh,
so,
okay. How long's DiPietro been in the league at all, or has he?
He hasn't. They both played in the
so I said I don't know much about him. You think he's good to be the backup next year?
I mean, I said this on like Bruins Twitter is. I don't know. They're all just like, oh, good. Now we can get rid of Corposalo because we signed DiPietro. I'm like, I doubt they just move Corposalo without being more than confident that DiPietro can be the backup, even if they know they're not going to be that good next year. Like, you just don't do that. So
no, because Corposalo wasn't that bad. Like as a backup, he's a serviceable backup. So you better make sure you got a replacement. Or
so isn't Stuart Skinner?
No, Stuart Skinner wasn't the backup though. That was the problem.
Or the other option is because Pickard. Sorry, I keep thinking of Star Trek. Calvin Pickard only makes $1 million. So if Edmonton wanted to, they could bury his contract down in the AHL at $0 cost. Because you can bury up to $1.5 million.
1.05, I think it is.
I think it's 1.5.
And then it went up because it used to be.
Yeah, it went up with the cap going up.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do that without any kind of that's the minimum you'll get when you send a guy down, unless he's making less than $1 million. But yeah.
No, and then in that case, if they want to keep Pickard, in case they need it in the playoff, him in the playoffs or whatever.
Call him up.
I'm happy to give Edmonton a 4th round pick and Corposalo and say, take him. Hell, I'm happy to give you a 3rd round pick in Corposalo and say, I'll take the loss on that. I'm happy on that one. And then I'll sign, and then Don Sweeney will probably sign Jake Allen to $5 million. So who fucking knows?
Yeah, well, but Allen would be a good backup.
Not for $5 million.
I agree with that, but especially if your guy's making 8 or 9, whatever, your main guy, then it's a little expensive.
Yeah, I think at that stage, you need to have DiPietro called up and just run the two of them, and whatever happens. The Bruins defense, I think, is going to be fine. It's just the Bruins defense and goaltending will be fine. It's the offense that's the big question mark.
Well, we'll find out.
I don't know. And Edmonton's everything is just fucking figuring it out. They're paying their too much money and the wrong people.
Yeah, they'll pay the price for that.
Who thought, by the way, that paying Darnell Nurse $9.25 million was a good idea? Chiarelli, right? Was it Peter Chiarelli?
I think it was Holland.
Yeah, I think it was Holland. I'm pretty sure it was Holland.
Yeah, well, that was his last fuck you to the Oilers.
Well, no, but
never. So
I think the Holloway and Broberg thing was the last.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that was so fun. He didn't even tender qualifying offers.
Well, he had to match. He should have matched.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Holloway.
He didn't match.
He didn't match on. He should have matched Holloway.
Oh. He should have just signed them before free agency.
Well, that too.
Now, last year was funny for Edmonton because they really screwed the pooch. and they're still paying Jack Campbell's contract because they bought him out. I think it's like $2.6 million.
No, that would have been only the first year. They just buy him out now? I thought they bought him out last year.
No, they did. Yeah, they're still paying in 2.6.
Yeah, but it's the first year that's high. Then it'll go down.
I think it's still $2.6 million for the next year, but I can confirm that. So
it sounds high for the second year.
Well, because he still had 3 years on that contract.
Yeah, which means they're paying him for 6.
So the first 3 are going to be high.
Higher, but it's the first one that's the highest. Then it'll go down a little bit, and then it'll be the low.
Well, it all depends. I think because it all depends on signing bonuses and
it depends
how
on
it's structured.
Yeah, actually, in 25-26 they're paying 2.3. In 26-27 they're paying 2.6, and then they're going to pay 1.5 for the remainder.
Oh, that's a horrible buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, they save half because he was at what, 5 million? So
yeah, he was at 5. So
yeah,
they still save half. It's true.
They could have used that 2.3.
Well, sure.
Like right now, they could have used that. And but I don't understand the Trent Frederick signing at 8 years with the no movement clause at 3.8 million. Who the fuck signs that?
But still, they deserve with the problems they traded for Campbell, right?
No, they signed him as a UFA.
Well, then even dumber. Like you did that, you deserve what you got there.
Everyone knew that was a bad signing.
Right. Everybody and his fucking cousin knew that was not the thing to do.
Yeah.
Like if Toronto, the team that just loves throwing fucking money out the window, doesn't want to sign you, we got issues.
And needs goalies all the time, and they not signing him, or they traded him. Didn't they move him, or no? They let him go.
No, yeah, he walked as a free agent.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, like Toronto did a good job at getting Tavares at that cheap value because I mean he did put up like 70 points last season, so I mean like that he definitely could have gotten a lot more than that.
Did you see Coach Chippy's video? Tavares calling his dealer to Mercedes Benz. Yeah, I got to trade in the Benz. I need something cheaper. Yeah, did you see that? I took a beating on the. I scored 40 and they only gave me 4.
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
no, I mean it was a good contract for them. Like it definitely worked out, and they got Nyes pretty much where I had them, like around like. So.
No, but you're right. Like, look, Tavares could have really screwed Toronto. Because look at this. If he walks, who do they have behind Austin Matthews? They have fucking nobody. They have nobody behind Austin Matthews.
But his balls are painted blue. Like he's gonna stay there.
I don't know if his balls are painted blue or they're just actually blue because he just can't finish.
Yeah, there you go, right? Yeah, but he scored 40, so he can finish. But you know what I mean? He's got Toronto painted on his heart.
I know. So. No, I know. That's why I knew he was gonna take a pay cut, and I knew he was gonna stay. But I'm just saying, like, because look, you look at what Brock Nelson got. Like, easily he could have got the Brock Nelson contract from any other team in the league.
Yeah, after the last season he had, for sure. For sure.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, he really, really helped them out. Because, like I said, if he leaves. Look, like we said, P.A.P. Suter is the best fucking center that's available right now.
He's a third line guy if you think about it. Like P.A.P. Suter.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, no.
Look at this before. Like
Granlund, he can play center, right?
Yeah, he could,
but he's small. Like Granlund's small.
Yeah, he's a smaller player, and like he is also 33, and like he's very up and down. Granlund, like
good player and everything.
And you don't know what you're gonna get.
Well, because he's a small forward, like a small center, but he's not a bad player. But I'm not signing him.
No, Mikael Granlund's definitely like he's a middle sixer. I think like you know what I mean. But that's all that's
second or third. Yeah,
like he's definitely like a middle sixer. I think at this stage in his career. Yeah. But like with the right people, he could still produce. But that's all that's really left outside of Besser and Ehlers are just middle 6 guys. Besser and Ehlers are probably the guys that I would argue like are definitely top 6 players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, there's a rumor, just to go back to the Habs now, because I was thinking about something. I heard a rumor that Montreal's is really interested in Kyrou in St. Louis.
I think that would be one of the biggest mistakes Montreal.
Right, because what do? If they get Kyrou, are they trading Laine? Like, what do you do in your top 6? You got no room to move another winger.
That's what I told Matt. Matt and I had a Facebook conversation. He just goes, "Oh, we'll just put Laine down to the third line. I'm like, you're gonna pay a third line winger $8.7 million. I don't care whether it's the last year of his contract. You don't do that.
That's a lot. Yeah, I mean that would be the only other option, right? I think that's what they would do, but still, I don't know. Anyways, apparently
they could buy him out technically.
They could,
I like the player.
They could. So I actually looked at what that buyout would look like, and in the longer run, it wouldn't be the best for Montreal, but it also wouldn't be the worst.
They're not buying him out.
No, they would probably trade him for penny.
Yeah.
If it meant it, and if they could get Kyrou for a reasonable value from St. Louis, what I would expect to happen is that they would probably trade Laine for whatever they could get, because at this point, they don't care.
It also depends. Like, if
I bet
no, that's not Ken Hughes's style, though. He'll move him somewhere that best situation he can move him to, I would think.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is maybe like depending on what's going the other way. If Montreal's not really sending, if it's only for picks and prospects or whatever, they could just attach Laine to that deal and be like, "Listen, we'll do the deal, but you have to also take Laine."
I think it would. You know what? I think there might be a third team involved. They might even do a third team involvement where
maybe that's what
where a third team could take Laine or at least half of Laine's contract, because that $8.7 million for him is atrocious.
No, it is sort of. I mean, for kind of, kind of and kind of not. But anyway, I don't know how serious the rumor is, but I mean, I heard about it. I was just thinking, like, why are they going after a winger? That's what I don't get.
I think that would solidify your top six. I mean,
it would, but you're stuck with that Laine thing. That's what
No, but I think if you were to get Kyrou, and you guys, I believe, are the leading candidates for that, Kent has no purpose for keeping Laine. He doesn't move the needle for you at that contract value, whether or not it's 1 year left. So I'm not saying you'll just trade him for pennies, but you're more willing now to do that because you also want that 8.7 off your books, especially if.
With Jordan Harris not getting qualified either, we basically got Patrick Laine for free. So
and a second round pick. Didn't we get a second or a third?
You got a third, I think.
Third. Laine a third.
You guys are, Montreal is not at the state where they need to worry about picks. They don't care.
No, the picks aren't a big thing right now.
And that's why we shipped off 2 first rounders for Noah Dobson.
Yeah. And so if you were to trade Laine, if you were looking for like a third line roster player, or like maybe a center at some piece, they might ask you to retain on Laine, depending on the quality of skill. And I think you'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, for the
8.7 for the year.
They'll retain for the season, like 1 year. I don't think they'll retain if he had 2 or 3 years. They wouldn't. But with Laine for this, for sure they'd retain.
And I don't see, if you guys land Kyrou, I don't see you guys, unless they have Laine, Doc, and then Kyrou, and then they put Demidov just on the third line because of the contract value, but also to spread that depth.
No, I don't see that. But
Demidov's not playing on the third line.
Right. But I'll tell you what, I like Kyrou, Demidov, Doc at the set. I like that.
If Doc can stay healthy, that's just it.
Yeah.
If Doc can stay healthy, I think it doesn't matter.
Oh, I like that.
I think a bit of a bigger guy, and I think how big is Demidov?
6'1".
He's like 6'1", I think a hair under 200.
192, I think, coming into the league last year, which I don't know.
Oh, then he'll be at 200 by the end of the summer.
He should be close to 200 or at 200 by next season.
So that's what I see. So I could see you guys moving Price's contract. I could see if you guys get Kyrou, you guys could move Laine for another piece. So
I don't mind having a Jordan Kyrou. I really don't. And I don't think they're going to find the 2C this year. I don't think they're going to find them this year.
Yeah.
So
no, there's no more no one's trading centers right now, and like we said in the UFA, there's no one available.
You guys could potentially offer sheet Marco Rossi.
But still, no, Rossi's too small. You got Nick Suzuki, who's not the biggest. You're not bringing a 5'9" guy behind him.
It depends on how your other line, like the other players on that line, shape up.
If you're talking about a little bit older guy in a couple of seasons, okay. But you're talking about Rossi, he's going to be here for a long time. I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I think I would much rather Rossi over Kirby Doc. even if Nick Suzuki's not the biggest, because if you go out and get Jordan Kyrou.
No, I disagree because Kirby Dach, you got him for one more year. He's got a shot, and you can't find that second line center this year. So you just push it to next year. I wouldn't go and invest in Marco Rossi. He was too small.
That's fine.
For this team. He's too small for us. If Nick Suzuki was 6'2", something like that, okay, you might be able to do that. But I don't think
you just fucking trade Line A to Anaheim for fucking Mason McTavish because
they're not going to do that.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm Rick. It's a joke. First of all,
good. You said it too seriously.
But Verbeek is that fucking stupid. So
maybe he might be, but that would.
Hey, don't tell me
you tried. I would try. I don't think it would happen, but
like they genuinely are that fucking stupid. They won't do it. But don't tell me they're not that stupid that maybe he catches them on a dementia day and then you have them. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's out of the normal. It is out of the normal possibility. They wouldn't do that, but you know.
I don't think so.
I mean, the league is moving towards a very strong position where you are going to see parity. I'd argue, and I'm with Eric. There are probably just 3 teams where you could say like they don't have a shot.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like San Jose, I don't think they have a shot. No. Chicago,
no shot.
Never.
Nashville, no shot.
Nashville, no shot. Those 3 teams, all other teams, I could say, you know what, you could probably
talk. I don't know about all other teams.
Pitt and Buffalo. Okay, so 5 teams.
Buffalo, that's right.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I knew there was another team out there.
I forgot about Nashville before.
It is 4. Okay,
so 4 or 5. Yeah. Nashville, Buffalo, like look, just quick on Buffalo. If like they brought in Kesselring, okay, fine. Like I didn't like that trade, but at the end of the day, he's like a good right-handed defenseman that could stabilize either Owen Power or Rasmus Dahlin. If they can make another trade and bring in another top 4 right-handed defenseman, now you'll have like that good puck mover defensive defenseman. And if they could just bring it, like there are like now I don't trust Buffalo to do it. But there are things that they could do to that team that could actually make them somewhat competitive for next year. I just don't understand what the fuck they're doing. Because now you're getting rumors that like Tage Thompson, they're taking calls on Tage Thompson, and they're looking to trade Usa-Pekka Luukkonen.
Now,
what are you doing?
No, Tage Thompson is a guy Montreal should target.
Why?
Oh yeah,
are you really willing to trade him?
Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to pay for that guy though?
He's only making like 8 million.
Yeah, but what are you going to pay to get him?
What do you care?
They sold Peterka for Kesselring and Josh Doan.
True.
Don't worry about what you have to pay for him. Just make the call.
It's definitely worth an inquiry. But don't you think Hughes would have inquired about that already? Or will inquire about that then? So maybe it'll happen.
If Buffalo is just like, we're willing to take picks for him, why wouldn't you?
Oh, no, I don't disagree. I forgot about Buffalo, how stupid they are. So you're right. If they're going to give you that kind of a deal, yeah.
I'm sorry. At least for the next 5 years, including this year, he's at $7.14 million and he's 27 years old. Come on. I don't see how if you're Kent Hughes, I'm calling, and he has a 5-team no trade list. And obviously, but you guys are within the same division, so Buffalo would be hesitant. But you guys could put a really good package together that could influence that deal.
Maybe you move Mayu.
Like if you were to include Mayu because they need right shot defenseman,
Mayu, Owen Beck,
Owen Beck, and I would probably say your next, like your 2026 first.
Because by the way, Owen Beck was the guy that Montreal offered the Islanders first, and they asked for a Heineman.
Oh,
so
I'm
Montreal
sorry.
said, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
I was gonna say, if I'm Ken Hughes, I'm like, I bet. Sign the paperwork. Let's do it.
It's done. We already made the call to the NHL.
I'm sorry. You will probably need a little bit more than just Mayu, Beck, and like your first. You probably need to include your 2 seconds next year too. But you don't care. You already have one of the deepest prospect pools. You're at a time point where you actually can invest in those kinds of players, especially one that.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Because
they would probably maybe want like a Reinbacher or something.
But I don't think Reinbacher is on the table necessarily, to be honest with you.
But if that's
You
what
wouldn't
gets
do
you
it for
Tage
Tage
Thompson,
Thompson?
I'm sorry, I think you take it.
Wait, they invested by getting Dobson because they wanted a certain thing on their blue line. They figured the blue line is done. I don't think they're putting a hole into it for that. Honestly, I really don't.
Well, how much of a hole?
I'm with you, Rick. I mean, I think the blue line's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much
set,
all.
And I don't
all
think they want to touch it.
Yeah, but you have Alexander again. You have Dobson, Carrier, and then you have Logan Mailloux. So
I think Mailloux is expendable. I don't think Reinbacher is. I don't think they.
Reinbacher is a no-go. That I've known since the Dobson trade. The Kent Hughes isn't listening on Reinbacher at all.
Okay, so then fine, Mailloux. It has to be at minimum Mailloux.
And that's not a bad second. That's not bad. Mailloux's got lots of
Dobson now, so you don't really need Logan Mailloux.
Right, he's got lots of upside, lots of good things.
I'm sorry, include Kurt. So it would probably be Mailloux, Kirby Dach, Owen Beck, and a first-round pick, maybe a second-round pick too, and I think that gets it done.
I don't think Doc's going anywhere until they got their guy for the second. I really don't think so.
What?
Well, if you're making that trade, you get Thompson to be your second line.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I brain fart. You're 100% right.
Wait, hold on a second.
That might be able to help get it done because they fucking took Josh Norris for good.
Yeah, that might get it done. I agree with that.
So who knows?
It's right. Who knows? We're just getting into that season, so who the fuck knows?
And if if Buffalo's taking calls on Tage Thompson, if I'm Sweeney, I'm just like, what realistically do you want? You want a nice shiny Pavel Zacha? I'll give you a nice shiny Pavel Zacha. And
Zacha was the guy. I think Zacha would be a guy they'd consider for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, so wouldn't I? I also wouldn't mind a Tage Thompson. But then again, we also have James Higgins, who could make his NHL debut as early as next season. I'm sorry, next year, not this upcoming.
Yeah, I wouldn't think this season coming.
But that is the earliest he could start. Now, mind you, Don Sweeney said they're not going to rush him, but still, I mean, if I can fleece Buffalo, who says no? Who says no to fleecing Buffalo? It's fucking funny as shit.
Yeah, it seems easy to do. So
until they actually win a trade or at least give on a trade there, like I will not stop ripping that team. I'm sorry. When was the last trade they actually won? Can you think of one?
I don't think I was alive.
You can maybe make a case because they ended up getting Thompson in the O'Reilly trade, but even at that, like St. Louis won a cup, so they win.
I don't know about that. Like St. Louis was just a really good team.
But O'Reilly was a big part of that team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so, and look, I the first couple of years, it looked really bad because Thompson didn't look like he really was gonna bust. And
Eric, you know what? Another team I'm with Alex on this. I can't stop making fun of the New York Islanders too, because I bet you any amount of money that the only reason that they could not move up to 7 or 4 to take James Higgins was because they literally said, like, fine, you want that? Like Utah said, fine, you want that pick? And Boston said, fine, you want that pick? The conversation starts with Matthew Barzal. I bet you any amount of money that is exactly why they couldn't get it done, is because
that's what I heard.
Yep, I bet you anything. And everyone's just like, Barzal's not going anywhere. Like, he's injury prone. He has only completed one full season, I think maybe twice in his career. So all your projection stats mean nothing. Like you can scale it however you want. It's not what he's done. So I bet you that's why they could not pull the trade off. Because
that's what I had heard actually today. I forget which part I was listening to, but like that's basically what they were saying. Like teams that like every team that the Islanders were calling were like, yeah, I want the 2 plus, like, because they knew what they were trying to do. So it's no.
And the Islanders had no leverage if you think about it, right?
They had none.
They were desperate. They're like, fine, we'll trade you the pick, but yeah, we want both first round picks, your firstborn child, your secondborn child,
but that's what it's like to trade into the top 10 anyway, and the top 5, it's almost impossible. So
listen, I don't think like the 7th overall pick for Barzal would have been enough. Or I think the 4th overall pick for Barzal would have been enough because now you're in the top 5, and that is a completely different story.
There's no way. If you're talking straight up, Barzal for the 4th, no way.
I think they
you want to
wanted
move to the 4th. That's expensive. He's costing you a fuckload of things.
But that's why I think teams wanted 16, 17, and Barzal.
Yeah,
to move up.
You want to move to the top 4? Yeah, that's what it costs.
I mean, I will say that's definitely an overpay.
No, but that's what it costs to move
that's
into
what they were
the top
asking.
5.
Well, sorry, not for the 4th. Like the 4th, that might be fine, but for the 7th, that's definitely an overpay.
No, you want to move. I'm telling you, you want to move into the top 10.
Yeah, Rick, there's a
top 5
difference between top 5 and top 10.
You got to pay too much. What's the difference between top 5 and 10? There's a drop off after 5. The percentage of players that are actually stars in the NHL. Right. There's a pretty considerable drop off,
especially in this draft. Yeah,
right. Which I think is why, like, again, and besides, obviously, the Canadians didn't really need the picks anyway. But why, Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon were so willing to, to make that deal, because they were like, well, I mean, why would we use the picks on players that might not be what Noah Dobson is when we can just go and trade for him right now? You know what I like?
Right.
And I think again that just made all the sense in the world.
The guys they pick wouldn't be here for 3 to 5 years anyway, so not helping right away. And you can get a guy that can push you a year up on your rebuild. You go for that guy.
And just imagine what the Islanders were offering the other teams that were probably really subpar. The rumor was it started with JG Peugeot. I'm like,
yeah, that's not doing anything.
I'm all set. I'll give you a third for JG, and I think that's generous. Like he's old.
Right. I agree.
He's on his I think he's washed. Like
he's
JG
old and he's not big. He's also a smaller guy.
Yeah. Please, if you're the New York Islanders, you're desperate to get back, I think, into the playoffs. You're desperate to get your defense and your offense going. And you want the world. Like, of course, you're going to overvalue your players, but let's be real. Like, if it moves the needle for you, you got to do it. And the Islanders ownership greenlit whatever it took to get James Higgins, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, but at a certain point, you can't pay these ridiculous prices, though. You can't just gut your team just for one player. And look, at the end of the day, I think it was for the best, because look, they ended up with Victor Eklund and then Keyshawn Aitchison.
Yeah, they did well. They did well.
Yeah, really liked in this draft. Plus, you have Cal Ritchie coming.
Yeah,
you have so like he's a center. So that's at least right now, like you have Horvat and you have Barzal that you could run 1-2 for now, and then Cal Ritchie could take one of the spots and you move one of the guys to the wing. So you don't have to pay a stupid price to get Higgins. It would have been nice. It would have been a nice story.
Cal Ritchie's likely going to be ready next year, dude.
Huh?
Cal Ritchie's likely going to be ready next year to at least be in the league.
So maybe that's shocked. So maybe in the end, that's why they didn't pull the trigger, because they were asked for too much and they didn't need to pay that much to do it.
But to say that, but for those fans to just like ostracize everyone who says he's not going anywhere, I'm just like,
oh, that's fans. What do you expect?
I'm like, dude, like, I didn't think Marchand was going to go anywhere. Actually, that's a lie. I did say like over the last summer. I'm like, if we're not in a playoff spot, I could see Marchand being moved. Well, there you go.
Well, that's a great segue. Marchand, what do you think he does?
Marchand signed with Florida.
Marchand signed.
Is that today?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was out all day.
What was it?
It figures
something.
5.25 for
6 years, 5.3.
I was out all day. I missed all these fucking signings.
Yeah. Bill Zito signed everybody.
Wait,
he said he was going to sign all 3. He signed all 3.
So
that's not bad. 5.25 for Marchand. That was a bargain.
Years, though.
Yeah, but 6 years.
Oh,
yeah,
6
I don't
years.
know if I would have agreed to 6 years.
Yeah,
4 years, fine, but like 6, you're really pushing that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he got the AAV so low, because he went.
Yeah, that's probably what they did. Yeah.
Because Marchand was getting like the things that were coming out, like there were teams ready to offer him 3x7, 3x8. So he had to get the AAV down to afford all 3. Because even Even what's his face? Ekblad took 6.1, but over 8 years.
And listen, Marchand, maybe they don't win the cup without Marchand. That's like them saying, like, we appreciate giving him a bonus.
I'm actually fully on board. You could argue Marchand outside of Bennett was their best forward.
Yep.
Like if you look at that third line and what that third line,
playoffs.
Like that third line produced, I think, the most points for that team.
So they did him a solid, and you know what? Good for them, because in down the road, when other players are thinking about going somewhere and they can go to Florida, they'll remember that kind of stuff and say, "Look how they treated their players." That's what players want to see.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Oh, in case you missed it too, Rick, Aaron Ekblad got signed to 6.1, and Sam Bennett got. I don't know how the fuck they did it. Again,
I can't believe what Evan Bouchard
I called it a couple episodes ago. I'm like, they're gonna sign all three. You're gonna
you did. I don't know how they did it, but I mean that Marchand. That's one of the reasons they gave him, so they can bring the number down. Mm-hmm. It allowed them a couple million extra a year to get Ekblad.
Oh, I couldn't.
And apparently Rodriguez is gonna go.
Yeah, supposedly.
If they want to make any other moves, they're gonna have to shed some salary.
Yeah. So
I was reading Rodriguez. I think they're gonna be on Jeremy Lauzon as well with a reunion there.
Boston, I don't think is going to touch Lauzon. They already have left defensive depth. It's the right side that's missing. I'd be surprised if they went after Lauzon. Lauzon just got traded. I don't think he's going to take another. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else.
Here's an interesting one. Where's Corey Perry signed?
I don't know. But he's supposedly going to Florida.
He's going to Florida.
Going to Florida.
Oh shit.
He's like, fuck it.
And then you know what's going to happen? The Florida Panthers are going to make the Stanley Cup final, and they're going to lose in 6.
I don't
know. If I'm Bill Zito, I'm like, buddy, I like you, but
no, we're not taking that chance, man. Not taking that chance. But seriously though, where do you think he's going to sign? Think he'll sign back in Edmonton? I don't think so.
He might.
Did you see the deal that Bouchard got, Rick?
Oh, did he sign too?
4 years, $10.5 million per.
Okay, but it's 4 years, so I'm not surprised with that. 4 years.
Oh, but that's disgusting. You don't sign someone to $10.5 million for 4 years.
Why?
Why would you? When you think of those types of contracts, you typically think of like we're 8 years, 7, 8 years. You don't sign someone to a $10.5 million contract when you already had the best player in the world and probably the second best player in the world already making 12 and 14 respectively. Wow. They're gonna end up exactly where the Leafs were 2 years ago.
You do sign the guy when that guy has pictures of you in a motel with another guy. So you do. That must be what happened.
It's true.
That's a total joke. This is a joke.
Bouchard must have some blackmail. No, I'm with you, Rick. He's got to have some blackmail, dude, because there's no effing way.
Or for whatever reason, something happened in negotiation. That's what they agreed to.
Well, but like I said, like if he was gonna, what I heard it was if he was gonna take 8 years, it was gonna be 12 plus.
So that's what it was. He gave them a couple. If you want me at that price, 4 years, and they agreed.
And like, look. It's a big risk for Edmonton because then the guy in 4 years can just walk. But at the same time, like you keep the cap a little lower so you could bring in some extra guys, I guess, because they're gonna have to pay McDavid $16 million next year.
Yeah.
So whatever little bit of savings you can get on Bouchard, even if you have to take a risk that he walks in 4 years, like I guess it might in their eyes, I guess it's worth it just to save that couple million. So
I still don't get the 10.5 for 4 years. That's nuts to me. That's just a bad deal.
But again, also now in 4 years, Bouchard may be someone like depending on where the cap goes. So like let's say now he would have signed for 12. Well, maybe in 4 years he signs for 13, 14, depending on where the cap is and how he progresses. He's still young. He's what, 25? Bouchard? I think he's 24, 25. So
well, he's an RFA too, so he's young.
Yeah, so he's gonna
he won't be when his contract runs out. That's the problem.
Maybe that's what he wanted. You wanted to sign?
He's only going to be like
UFA.
28, 29 when that contract ends.
Exactly. So he's going to get a
the
big
issue is
payday
that
when
he'll
he's
be a
done.
UFA.
But I'm saying for the player, it's in his best interest to take short term now, and then go like the longer term like later,
6 or 7 years.
And many pros will tell you that most oftentimes defensemen really start to come into their own around 27 years old.
Yeah,
So you really might only have 2 years of him really coming into it, and then let's just say he pops off, and now he's wanting 18 million. Like, I think that's a big mistake.
I think Bouchard is betting on himself, and that's why he went short term also.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure people weren't betting on him to turn over the puck as much as they did in Game 6, but
Yeah.
Hey, then again, maybe that's why Edmonton didn't want to go longer term.
That guy turns the puck over more than I do during my beer league games.
So maybe that's why Edmonton said, "Yeah, listen, we'll go the shorter term because we're not 100% sold on you at this rate."
But he's also over a point per game in the playoffs.
Yes, the only good benefit that I think that comes along with that short-term but massive contract is that you can trade it because it has no protection.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So, and Nordy's burning down the house.
No, that's somebody outside is backing up with a backup beeper.
Oh, it doesn't have beep protection.
But I mean, outside of that, nothing really else really surprised me that people got signed. I actually, there was one, like the Trent Frederick signing. It was you attached a no movement clause to a $4 million contract.
Oh, by the way, Marchand's deal has a full no move.
Stop it.
For I think the first 4 years, and the last 2 are like a 10 team or whatever the fuck.
I would fucking hope so.
Yeah, but I think the first 4 are full no move.
Oh, they gave him that 4 years.
Yeah, first 4 are full no move,
and he wanted 4 years. And I'm sure he didn't want to go somewhere and move again, so he probably wanted first 4 no move.
No, that makes sense because if you look at the age of his kids, and to uproot them like that would not be.
I think he found a home there in Florida. And another thing, I was seeing a thing about this is like a marketing genius. He has been great for them marketing wise, and and the fans are really going to be into him. Like he's bringing in fans. He's going to put up the play. It's a good signing.
Yeah,
I think it's a good signing.
I mean, it pains me to obviously see Marchand there, but I don't think Florida could have gotten a better off-ice player for them that would market their team as well as he does. I mean, when we won the Cup in 2011, he went off on Instagram. He really knows how to get the fan base invested into the team, and I think
and into himself and the team. 100%. So I think they looked at it and go, "Yeah, we'll give you the 6 years because it's worth it for us." In marketing too, look at the money that can be brought in on shirt sales and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I really don't hate Florida. I mean, as a division rival, I have to hate them when we play against them. And Kara will probably kick my ass for saying this, but I really don't hate Florida. I was happy to see them win their cup in last year, 24. And then I was all right when they won it this year in 25, but I really would have liked Edmonton, but I'm not going to complain. It's a good team.
For me, the amazing thing is I'm going to say I really don't hate Marchand anymore. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I don't hate the dude anymore.
Dude, he's a fucking troll. What do you want?
No, but he's really
he's
the
awesome.
way he played, the stuff he says and all that. He's really turned me around as a bit of a fan of his. And I can't even believe I'm saying that, but I mean, I don't hate the guy anymore.
It's because he's not on. Well, it's because he's not.
Well, it could be a little bit that he doesn't have the Bruins logo on his chest, but no, I mean, I really hated Marchand. Really,
it bothers me that he doesn't have the logo.
Well, he's turned me around. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine maybe in one of the last years he does come back to retire a Bruin. I have a hard time believing that that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, he'll sign a contract for a day, and then
I think so too. Yeah, if he doesn't, I'd be impressed.
Anyway, I don't know who else there is to talk about now on that's how little there was on the UFA, but we did a pretty good job.
There's Jack Roslovic.
He's getting old though.
28.
Not a Roslovic fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so like if maybe
He's
a third or fourth line center, but
No,
he's been playing mostly wing
not
though.
a fourth line center. He's a middle sixer, definitely,
Yeah.
but not a fourth line guy. No,
yeah, I doubt Montreal's interested in him anyway.
no. But I mean, I don't know where he ends up. Probably a team desperate for a center. Probably Philly.
Oh God, no! Oh please, no! I am not a fan, and I do not want to take that chance. No, God, no.
So why not?
Like, if he's willing to take league minimum for 1 year, okay, fine, whatever. You just waive him after. But if he wants term and money, God no.
Well, I don't know how much money he's gonna get, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, he's not gonna make a ton.
No, but even for me, like even at $3 million for Roslovic, I'll be like, no,
Right?
like no. But
I think that's it.
Give him stupid money because there's nobody available.
Yeah, so he'll get a contract. That's for sure.
Yeah, GMs have this money burning in their pockets with the cap raising, and I'd see it.
Oh yeah, GMs can't control themselves no matter what they say. In general, some can, yes, but man, most of them just aren't. They can't control their spending. Makes no sense.
Who do you guys think is that the one guy that's gonna get you? He's gonna be that guy in free agency that you're like, what? Why? I don't know. Like it's gonna get overpaid.
Drouin. I don't
think he's gonna get overpaid.
But whatever. I'm gonna go. What? Like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head, and I'm going in front of me.
My guy was Ekblad. I thought someone was gonna offer him like 7x9, and I'm like, that's gonna be so stupid. But now that he resigned, I think I'm gonna go with P.A.P. Suter. I think.
That's actually not a bad. You might be right. He might get.
I think with the lack of centers right now, and the fact that like he had like a career year, and like someone's just gonna give him stupid money.
Yeah,
and they're gonna regret that right away.
Yeah. I think it could be Mikael Granlund too, just because if people look at his points production.
Yeah, but at his age, he won't get like a ton of term.
No, but if you're just talking just an overpay, like you know what I mean, at contract, at just medium like contract AAV, it could be Granlund.
Yeah, but you won't. It's like I doubt the term's long enough where you go, well, you'll regret that, you know. Whereas a Pius Suter might sign for 8 years or 7, and you might regret that contract. I don't think a contract you sign Granlund to like 2 years. It's not, you know, there's not a lot of risk there.
I mean, if you sign him at 2 years at like $8 million, I mean, like I don't think he's going to get that much, but
I don't think he's going to get that either. He'll get 5.5 maybe.
Well, he already made 5. I think he'll get more than that.
So maybe he'll get 6. I don't think he'll get much more.
Well, he was on a $1.6 million contract last year.
Oh well, then he's getting maybe 3 because of the demand.
Like if you get him at 3, that's not a bad number.
It's not a bad number, and for 2 years, like I said, no risk.
Yeah. But if we're talking, like, I feel like someone's okay, not 8, but I feel like someone's gonna give him like 4x6.
What did you say?
4 or 5 anyway, probably.
Eric, how much did you say he made?
1.5.
Well, here it says 1.6 million last year.
No, his previous cap hit was $5 million last season. I don't know where you're getting that.
That's what I would have thought.
Cap hit age. Hold on, wait, let me check this.
His previous contract term was 4 years, 5.
On daily face-off on the they had him listed as his current contract at 1.6. P.A.P. Suter.
It could. Oh, I'm talking about
Suter.
1.6.
I'm sorry.
He's talking about Granlund.
I was talking about Granlund. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Granlund was like at 5.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm talking about. Like 2 years at 2 years at 5 or 6 million for Granlund. It's not the horror, you know. But is he going to sign at 33 for 2 years? Probably not.
No, he's going to want 4,
4 or 5, maybe
probably.
even 6. Wouldn't bug me.
I don't
not go 6 years with Granlund.
I see a team offering him 4.
But again, in a year where they're, you know, centers you're desperate for one, he may get a GM that'll give him that. Wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
He plays more of the wing now. He's not really.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Every time I've seen him, I think he's been playing center.
But again, I think the 3 remaining top 6 forwards are Besser, Ehlers, and Granlund.
Yeah,
That's it.
Probably.
Outside of that, though, I think it's going to be a boring day, and Pius Suter is going to get $45 million up the wazoo.
So we'll have something to laugh at.
So I don't know. Rick and I will be live for draft day. Not draft day. Did I say draft day? Free agency.
Free agency. We didn't really talk about the draft much, by the way, and we're on the thumbnail.
There wasn't much to talk about the draft. I mean, it kind of.
Well, we did 4.5 fucking hours at the live stream. We talked ourselves out, man.
We can briefly just talk about how awful the fucking decentralization was in the house.
we got to go back to a centralized format like Ace. I mean, I like the trade button, but my God.
No, listen. If they don't want to,
like 5 years to announce that trade.
There were things they could do to bring that show down by a good hour plus.
Oh yeah,
easily. Just don't the trade button. You're hitting that trade button. The next team comes up and makes a goddamn pick right away.
Yeah,
3 minutes time, and they hit that a bunch of times. That was a half
Probably cut out the FaceTimes too with the management staff.
Do that behind the scenes.
You cut that out, you probably save a good hour, maybe hour and 15 minutes.
That's what I said. You cut those things out, and you're down to 3.5 hours, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think you can also, like, while people are on the clock, you can definitely have like the interviews of these picks off on the side, and like,
yeah, it's what they do like in the NFL.
Yeah,
they just totally botched it. So I hope they do a rethink.
Well, I Rick and I talked about it too. Like, it's year 1 of this; they're gonna figure it out. But if they don't, there's a problem. Like, it took forever to get the draft started. Like, that was the problem.
That was one of them. It was one of them. Yes.
That was a lot of things. That's
really a lot of problems. They need to rejig that somehow.
Well, yeah. Today, all the talk was that next year it's going back. That there's a good chance next year it's going back to everybody there and. Because look, if everybody's there, then you don't have to do those stupid videos where they're talking like just generic like questions and like, hey, well, we're proud to have you on our team. And like, okay, like I don't need to see that. Like, go tell them in the corner. Like, I don't need to see that.
And also,
they are because the GMs voted 20. Like, I think it was like 26-6 in favor of the decentralized draft. Like, it was.
Well, they made a mistake. The one thing the NHL did well when they have an event like of that type was the draft. And they screwed with it. Mm-hmm. Why?
And they were even saying like today, I think it was on anyway another one of the podcasts I was listening to, but they were saying that because one of the big reasons was like for cost. Oh, but like it's the extra cost that we take. But then today they were talking. They're like, well, they didn't really save much because even though the GM and maybe like a couple of his guys, the assistant GMs weren't there, but they still had to send like a bunch of people still there. So what did you really save? You didn't save much.
It's stupid. It's just
and the NHL isn't covering the cost of the GM's travel. The organizations are.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like teams were saying like, oh, we're gonna save all this cost in not sending our staff there. But at the end of the day, their scouts were still there. They had a bunch of people still there. Oh. The only people that really weren't there were the GM and the assistant GM.
Oh no! You send like 10 to 12 people away. for 2 fucking days, 3 days of their fucking lives to most often a paradise during the summer, and then you're a fucking multi-million-dollar corporation. Oh, I feel so fucking sorry for you. Where did the statement come from? The Jacobs family? Shit.
Another aspect is when the GMs are all together there's a lot of business that gets done and talks and things set up for the future. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's good for TV. It's like the camera will pan to like.
I love when it shows
X and GM Y talking.
Like GM's on the phone and stuff. And you're like, oh my God, what's going on? What's cooking? Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Half of the time it's nothing, but you're like, still, it builds drama, it builds excitement. This was just so boring and long.
It was, and it was boring. Like, it was fun, and we made it fun because we were all there talking and everything. But really, if you're alone watching that, that's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love watching. I watch the draft every year, but this one was just like, man,
Holy
like we were at the 2-hour mark, I think, and they were at like pick 14, and you're like,
It's crazy.
how?
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I was wondering if there was going to be a fucking intermission.
Seriously, though. Like, come on, man. No.
I know they're actually talking about re-centralizing it. I think Vegas and Montreal, the two host cities that they're looking at for 26 right now.
No, I think you got to go Vegas all the way. That Sphere every year.
They just had it.
Because that was super expensive, though.
Yeah.
And they just had it there.
Don't care. The amount of money that probably because you could sell tickets to the draft and it can help pay for itself. Like, you know what I mean? Because that Sphere is massive. Like, you can if the NHL was smart, they would just do it a little bit better. I don't know.
The NHL doesn't make enough money that they can't throw this bash. It's great for your advertisers, for all the sponsors and all that. It's a great thing, and I think it's worth its value just in that.
Tell that to the $2 billion submission fee that people need to pay just to, I think, have their application looked at.
And tell them, what does that mean? You think the NHL is not going to charge them that anyway?
No, I know. It's ridiculous.
So? That's what I mean. The NHL's making enough money to pay for the whole goddamn thing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, let's wrap it up. We're running late.
You're running late. Got him, loser. Rip Bozo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 75 of the Pucking Around podcast. Draft steals. It was more like free agent frenzy, but we hope we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, making fun of all the teams that we like, dislike, and whatnot. Rick and I will be live for the NHL free agent stuff, at least for July 1st. But by the time this releases, it'll already be over. So there's that.
No, this will be out before that. So this will be out just before we start doing our live thing.
Word. Awesome. So tune in, watch us, laugh with us, cry with us, whatever you guys want. Don't forget to leave comments, like, and subscribe, and go check out the Highbrew Nation interview with David Backus. Next week, we're going to wrap up free agency, or what's going to be left of it. And until next time, peace. We love you guys. Adios. Namaste.
Bye, everybody.
Later, peeps.
Ciao.
Promise that you'll catch me.